Hi there, Genevieve here from Sephora Green Hills in Nashville, Tennessee. If you want to see how to create a romantic look for Valentine's Day, stay tuned. So before starting this look, I already had foundation and a bit of bronzer on, but as my first step, I'm going to go in with the Makeup Forever Eyeshadow Primer. It's currently my favorite because my lids get pretty oily throughout the day, and this is by far my favorite to avoid creasing. I'm applying this with my ring finger. To even out the redness in my lids, I'm using a small amount of the Too Faced Born This Way Super Coverage Concealer in shade Nude with the number 71 brush from Sephora collection. I start by placing the product in the center of the lid and diffusing it out from there with a brush, and then I do the same on the bottom. This will just help the shadows pop a bit more throughout the rest of the eye look instead of looking like natural eye darkness. I'm going in with the Hourglass Veil translucent setting powder and using the number 27 brush from Sephora collection to set these two products into place. I like this powder because it sets them without drying my under eye out at all. For my Valentine's eye look, I'm using the Pat McGrath Labs Mothership 5 eyeshadow palette Bronze Seduction. I'm starting out by using shade Entrapment in this palette with the number 27 blending brush from Sephora collection. I start by feeling for my brow bone and letting it guide me in and out of the socket to create a bit of crease definition. Once I've gone in and out of the socket, I like to use little circular motions and outward strokes just to make sure it blends into the complexion seamlessly instead of having a definite line. I'm mirroring the same depth underneath the bottom lash line to balance the definition with the number 14 brush from Sephora collection and the same shade Entrapment. The second shade I'll be using is color Disobedient, and I'll be using the number 19 brush to add a little bit of a tighter definition to the crease. And I bring this color all the way into and out of the socket as well, just not as high as the last one. I like to go back and forth, looking straight on, just to make sure I'm getting the same depth on both eyes. For a balance, do the same to the bottom lash line with the number 18 brush, and the same shade Disobedient. To add a sultry depth to the eye, I'm lining the waterline with the Sephora Collection Glide Liner in deep black. I'm doing the same to the top by filling in underneath the lash line. For the final bit of depth, I'm using shade Extreme Aubergine from the palette with the number 86 brush from Sephora collection. I'm defining the crease about 3/4 of the way in instead of all the way into the whole socket. I love this number 86 brush because it keeps your color tight in the crease instead of diffusing it outwards too far. It's really great for detailing. To balance this on the bottom lash line, I'm going in with that same Extreme Aubergine shade and getting up closer to the waterline for a smooth transition. I'm using shade Rose Gold 005 with my ring finger and swiping that on the center of the lid to create a glossy lid that sparkles all night. The reason I like to use my ring finger is that it picks up much more pigment than a brush. You wouldn't want to do this with a matte shade, just your shimmer shades. To create warmth and a smooth transition, I'm using shade Blitz Flame from the palette to hug the outer perimeter of Rose Gold with the number 18 brush from Sephora collection. I'm using pressing motions to really help swipe this into the other color. This will just make sure it looks really smooth and add a really nice transition instead of looking like two different shades. Now I'm using shade Skin Show Divine Glow with the number 18 brush and swiping this onto the inner corner. This will help add a really nice pop and add a little bit of lightness to the smoky eye that we're creating. To add a bit of a wing to this look, I'm using the Perma Precision Liquid Eyeliner from Pat McGrath Labs, and I'm using the shade Extreme Black. The easiest way to create a wing for me personally is to follow my bottom waterline and just let that be the direction for my wing. This will really help lift up my eyes and create something that's cohesive with my eye shape. Now going in with the Benefit Cosmetics Roller Lash Mascara in black, I'm defining my lashes before I apply my false strip. Applying your mascara first will allow you to get a longer usage out of your lashes and just create a seamless effect. And I also apply this to my bottom lashes as well. Now using Sephora Collection Lily Lashes for Sephora Collection in style Miami, I am just applying these and lining them up to the wing that I placed earlier. Once I initially place them, I make sure I keep pressing them against my lash line so the glue dries right near my lashes. I also like to lightly pinch my natural lashes to the lash strip. Now I'm going back in with the Pat McGrath Labs Perma Precision Liquid Eyeliner in Extreme Black to help blend these lashes into the lash look. Going back over in your eyeliner after you've applied your lashes really makes for a seamless look. Now I'm going back in with shade Extreme Aubergine and using brush number 11 to help blend my liner into the rest of the eye look. I'm stamping this Extreme Aubergine color along the bottom lash line and bringing it up into the liner so it looks really seamless. For concealer today, I'm using the Too Faced Born This Way Super Coverage Concealer in shade Nude to help even out any darkness underneath the eye. You can see I start out by feeling for my orbital bone and then lightly diffusing it upwards from there. That way you get the majority of the product lowered down so you're not creating a stark line against your eyeshadow. Now to set this into place, I'm using the number 27 brush from Sephora collection again and the Hourglass Veil Translucent Setting Powder and just lightly pressing a small amount against the bottom lash line and onto the concealer. This way everything looks really smoky and seamless. I like using the number 27 brush because it's a blending brush, so it's just going to add a really soft effect. To create a beautiful Valentine's flush, I'm using the Nars Liquid Blush in shade Dolce Vita with the number 64 brush from Sephora collection. This is a natural hair brush, so it's going to really help diffuse that product out so it's not too harsh. It just gives us a nice rosy glow. As you can see, I shear it out on my hand, and then I start on the highest point of the cheek, which you would call the apple, and then start diffusing it outwards from there. I also like to put it on all the outer perimeters of the face and the insides where the sun would naturally give you a little bit of a pink hue. Now with the Bobbi Brown highlighting powder in shade Pink Glow, I'm going to be using a damp beauty blender going into this compact and using the bottom side to really help press this in to the cheeks. Since we were using a mixture of creams and powders earlier, the beauty blender is really just going to ensure a seamless finish and avoid any texture. I also like to put this on my Cupid's bow and my chin. Now going in with the same shade Pink Glow in my beauty blender. Since I'm wearing an asymmetrical top, I'm going to make sure that I am adding a glow to my collarbones, my shoulders, so my body doesn't look dry compared to my glowy complexion. I start out by pressing this on the higher points and then just sweeping it all around. Now to add moisture and volume to the lips, I'm going in with the Dior Addict Lip Maximizer Plumping Gloss in shade Rosewood. This collagen boosting gloss will give you a perfect kissable pout for Valentine's Day. For a bit more color, I'm using the Bobbi Brown Luxe Liquid Lip High Shine in Italian Rose. To create more of a diffused look, I'm starting out with a bit on the back of my hand and using the number 27 brush from Sephora collection to really help sheer out this product. I like to start in at the center of the lip and diffuse outwards. When I get too much product towards the outer corners, I like to blot it with a tissue and then go back in to just help create a really nice blurred lip look. This will be perfect because it will be super low effort on Valentine's Day. You won't have to worry about touch-ups as much because it doesn't have to be perfect. And then on any areas that I feel like I went a little too far, I like to just use my ring finger and then a little bit of concealer on my concealer brush. You want it to look diffused and smooth, but never too far out of the lines. And there you have it, a look that's warm, romantic, and perfect for Valentine's Day. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, bye guys!